we are looking for a variable variable area. Okay, what is the advantage and what will be the working principle? We will look into that. Now first of all, have a look how it look like. Now here it has that flow will go from downward to the upward direction, and this is the float, or which is also called as the bob, and this whole cross section, the fluid, when the fluid will flow from this direction to this direction upward, and this bob will register the flow behavior. Means if the fluid velocity will be very high, it will go upward direction. If the velocity will be very low, it will be remain little bit uh, at what is the velocity and how much is the pressure which is creating throughout the region. So when it strike here, it will go up and it will show some kind of reading, and you can easily determine how much will be the flow rate. Here now you can, if you will see here, pressure will be P1 and P2 because it will create some kind of pressure due to the variation of the area and the velocity of the fluid as well. Now, this particular portion, which as I already told, that this is taper-like structure, means you are varying your area. First of all, what is the significance of varying such kind of area? The float, or you can say the bob, which you are making, it is like a orifice type shape structure. Now, see, have a look here. This particular position, it is needle type of structure, and then it is flat, and this kind of a structure, that this is called as orifice plate, like orifice plate. Here the area is very high and here area is low, but the tilted, that the sharp edge, when the fluid will strike at this particular position, it will spread the fluid and float automatically due to the drag or due to the bind force. It will go up, it will register, and it will show how much will be the reading here. So with it, here will be your readings, means how much is the flow rate, ml per liter, or liter per minute, or liter per hour. It will depend on your system and application. Now, if you are talking about the working principle, how many type of forces generally generally it is applicable. Now when, okay, it will go from up to this direction. Now have a look for, first of all, forces. How many type of forces? The gravitational force always will be in the downward direction, of course, because that bob or the float have some mass. It will be always mg. Then bind force, I think you might have heard the, what is the bind force? Means the force which is exerted by the fluid. It is based on Archimedes principle. I think everyone knows, right? When you will drop, or when you will put any kind of solid particle into your liquid system, it will displace the same amount of volume of water. It will displace the same, that here if you will dip this solid particle, this is solid particle, it will displace same volume of the water. How much it will have? Same. Means if the body is floating, that like swim, if your body is swimming into any kind of river, means you are displacing your same water. And how it is floating? Your gravitational force, it will be applied downward direction, and your bind force, it will apply in upward direction. Due to that reason, your body is floating into a river. If you are swimming into the water, due to the bind force, your body is floating into the water. Now here we have got, there is the two type of the force, but there is one more force which is applicable, which is called as the drag force. Drag, how it comes? Drag means it is some kind of frictional force when any kind of body, if it is moving upward direction, then it will resist to flow. Means if it will go upward, then how it look like? Means I think I have written here, I think. No, I'm not sure. Okay, there will be the three type of the forces. I'm writing only here three type of the forces. One force will be your gravitational force. It will be mg. The buoyant force will be upward direction and drag. It will resist to flow. Three type of the force. This will be the buoyant force, and here will be the drag force. Three type of the forces which is applied by the fluid in a particular float. This particular portion called as the float. This is also called as the bob. Okay, this is the very basic construction of the rotameter, and I have discussed here only basic thing. I have not derived any kind of formula, just basic thing, because this comes under category of the variable flow area, and in your curriculum which is also mentioned that you have to talk about area flow meter like rotameter. Okay, now we have finished this part. Now today we will talk about what are the losses in the pipe. If you are designing any kind of reactor or you are working in any kind of bioreactor, there is a lot of losses into reaction system. And let me make one plot. If you have bioreactor which is having volume of 500 liter, okay, the volume is very high. So if you want to flow one fluid from this position to this position, that without applying any kind of forces, fluid will flow based on your gravitational force. But if you want to flow any kind of fluid from this pipe, this tank to this tank, then you have to apply additional force. In between, you have to apply any kind of pump. Then what will be the working principle? If you apply pump, it will flow and it will send water from this tank to this tank. But if you have calculated pump's NPSH value, it is near about 10 meter, 3 meter, then you cannot claim that velocity of the flow at the nearby this tank and pump head will be same as which is reaching in your this tank. Then there is some kind of loss in terms of energy based on your gravitational force. It can be anything or any kind of resistive force. When you are moving into your surface, there is some kind of frictional force. That's why you are not slipping. So same thing, there is some kind of losses when the fluid will flow from upward direction. Generally, loss is measured when you want to transport fluid from one direction to the another direction, and which is opposite to the gravitational force. If it is parallel, definitely you have to create, means if it is horizontal pipe, like if you want to flow there is one reservoir, you want to flow fluid from this position to this position, it will require some kind of pressure. Means pressure should be sufficient to go fluid from this position to this position. What you have to do? You have to do a lot of calculation. You have to define your losses, how much will be the resistive force nearby surface, and how you define that frictional losses you are looking for. Frictional losses should be lower. For that, you have to study about the major that the losses in the pipe. There is generally two type of the losses. Now let me read. Loss of the energy in pipe. When water flow in pipe, it experiences some resistance of its motion. Means if the fluid will flow, it will apply some kind of resistance. This is called as due to which its velocity and ultimate the head of the water availability get reduced. As I already told, velocity and your head. Head means how much height you want to pick your water from bottom to up. So for that, there is the two type of the losses. One is the major, another one is the minor. In the major loss, it is due to the frictional force. Frictional means it is generally happening to the pipe. Means if the fluid will flow in laminar pipe, and what will happen? Here will be at the surface there will be some kind of resistive force from one layer of fluid to the another layer of the fluid, and you are, as you are already claiming, the resistive force at the nearby the surface of the pipe is very higher as compared to the middle point. At the middle it have the lower resistive point. And the another loss is minor loss. Minor loss occur due to if you have any kind of enlargement area, means like venturi, or if it's construction area, like you have any kind of bend like this, then at that particular position here will be the loss. If the fluid will flow from this position to this position, okay, there will be the loss. And if you have any kind of fitting, like there is a lot of curve in the pipe or any kind of bendage are there, then there is the some kind of which under comes category of the minor losses. One is the major loss, another one is minor loss. Now if you define the major losses, this is the one of the very famous equation, Darcy-Weisbach formula, which is very famous equation and Cauchy's equation. Darcy-Weisbach is applicable to define the loss into the pipe. So we will talk about how we can define or how we can derive that Darcy-Weisbach formula based on your fundamental theories. Okay, then what you have to do, you have to design a pipe. This is your pipe from position 1, from position 2. You have cut it down 1 inch segment. This is called as control volume, as I already told. This whole portion called as the control volume. This is the pressure exerted into this direction. Fluid is flowing from this to this direction. Fluid is flowing from this direction to this direction. Then this is pressure at the inlet pressure, and the outlet pressure is the P2, but it will be in opposite direction because you are looking for at this particular control volume. And this is the length of the control volume. Then how you will start? As I already told, Bernoulli theorem you have to apply, then apply the Bernoulli theorem. This is the head loss formula. So we will look into how we can derive. Okay, now have a look the Darcy-Weisbach formula. This is the diameter, this is the length. You have to apply the Bernoulli theorem. P1 rho gh plus v square by 2g plus z1 at this particular point for this position, P2 rho g divided by rho g plus v square by 2g plus z2 plus hf. Hf means you want to determine how much will be the loss. Loss from this position to this position means if the fluid will flow from this position, you are assuming it is 0. But when it will cross from this segment to this particular point, means there will be some kind of loss. Means if you are claiming here will be the 10 atm, then here will be the 9.5 or 9.8. There will be the reduce in your pressure. Then how you will define in terms of your losses? Now it is placed in horizontal position, then z1 z2 will be 0, correct? Velocity, here velocity will be same. Why velocity? Because you are assuming that velocity at this particular point and this particular point is same. Okay, and here is you cannot find any kind of bend or any kind of means moment. The fluid will go from this position to this position only. Okay, now after that it will 0, then again P1 divided by rho g equal to P2 divided by rho g plus hf. Now to determine hf will be P1 minus P2 divided by rho g. Just rho g it will go in this side, then rho g hf equal to P1 minus P2. This is called as the frictional coefficient. Okay, not frictional coefficient, sorry. This is you have defined. What you have to do, then you have to define the frictional resistance forces, which is, it is the fundamental formula, means frictional coefficient multiplied by wetted your area. How much is the wetted area multiplied by the velocity square. Means this particular point is wetted area. What does that mean, wetted area? This one is your length, this one is your diameter. What is the formula of area? Area length into how much is the breadth. Now this is the area. So same thing we have taken pi, weighted area is there, pi multiplied by 2dl, it will be the area multiplied by v square by, sorry, only v square. Then this particular position, this is perimeter. Perimeter equal to 2 pi l. Perimeter, I have already mentioned here, perimeter equal to pi d, 2 pi r. Then you have mentioned here P only. Then what you have to do? You have to make the balance force. If the fluid will flow from this position to this position, at the end it will be the equal to 0. Means pressure force plus this pressure force. Let me clear one thing also. That pressure you are applying, that is in direction, in this direction. But here P2 will be in this direction. Then you have to subtract P1 minus P2. What it will be? Then P1 minus P2 minus how much is the loss due to the friction. Now equal to 0. It should be 0. Then you have easily determined P1A, force is there, P1 multiplied by A minus P2 multiplied by A, and this much is the resistance force, this particular force. Just equate both thing, P1 minus P2, it will be this formula. Then now coming to this particular point, this you have already determined, and you have determined the based on your force balance, and this thing you have quantified based on your Bernoulli's theorem. Then just equate this particular point and this both equation. If you equate, you will get this point, this equation. Rho g hf equal to f dash, this is your frictional coefficient, P by A multiplied by L multiplied by V square. Then P by A, P is your perimeter, pi multiplied by D divided by pi by 4 D square. Then you have got the 4 by D. Just put this value here. You have got the HF equal to, how much will be the HF? This you have got. Then here you have to take, this is the constant value, HF by rho. You have to take F by 2 because this is called as the friction factor. Then how much it will be? HF equal to 4FL V square by 2GD. Then you have got the value of, you have derived the formula of the Darcy-Weisbach equation, which is very famous equation. Generally people use to define, if you know the how much is the frictional loss, then you can easily define your how much will be the height. Now I think you have got my point, how and why we are looking for. Let me, if the fluid will flow from this position to this position, then you are looking for how much will be the frictional loss, how much will be the loss. Then how you will define the head loss due to the friction? You have to if the fluid will pass from this position, you have to make one constant value which can define the whole losses due to the friction, because you are looking for major loss which comes in the category of major loss. And what you have to do, you have to apply first of all Bernoulli's theorem. You will then, after the Bernoulli's theorem, you have to apply the force balance, the frictional resistance force you have defined, and you have to make the force balance here. Just rearrange all the value, you will get the exact formula that you are looking for. All these value will be known to you. You can easily determine how much will be the head loss. Okay. There is
Excuse me sir.
Yes
सर यहाँ पे एक टर्म यूज हुई है पेरीमीटर, उसका मीनिंग क्या होता है?
perimeter. Okay. Perimeter, actually perimeter means, okay, what is the meaning of area? Area means this whole thing, area. Its formula is pi r square. This is area. Okay, area. If you want to looking for perimeter, it will be like this only, from this position. And let me tell in Hindi that अगर कोई रेसर मींस 100 मीटर 1 किलोमीटर का रेस में दौड़ते हैं तो जनरली वो पेरीमीटर में भागता है. ओके, एक पर्टिकुलर गोला होते हो गए और वहां पे इट विल रन थ्रू आउट दैट गोला. बट इन द केस ऑफ एरिया, अगर कोई आप कैटल लेते हो, लाइक कोई गाय लेते हो या बकरी लेते हो, उसको यहाँ पे बीच में बांधोगे, देन वो पूरे एरिया को घास खाएगा, पूरे एरिया का. मीन्स थ्रू आउट दिस होल पर्टिकुलर रीजन इट विल ईट थ्रू आउट द, it will eat for whole areas. But in perimeter, perimeter means koi runner, if he will run, then it will run in particular track which is in around that, but it is not inside this. But बकरी कोई खाएगा, गोट कोई भी घास खाएगा, तो it will eat the throughout whole region. That area means whole region, not your upper surface, only upper surface. So the formula perimeter is 2 pi r. Okay, got it?
Yes sir, thank you sir.
जिसने पूछा समझा कि नहीं? Okay, okay, okay. Now we have derived the formula of Darcy-Weisbach equation. One term is very famous, Darcy friction factor, which is F. You have already looking for F. This whole term, this F, this is 4 times larger than fanning friction factor. There is a 2 friction factor. Don't forget, Darcy friction factor F is 4 times larger than fanning friction factor. So if someone will tell that friction factor, then if it is he has mentioned that this is the Darcy friction factor, then it will be F. Otherwise you have to divide or multiply it based on what you are looking for. If it is giving this, then it's okay. If it is giving the fanning friction factor, then you have to divide to get the Darcy-Weisbach equation. And here I have mentioned here that the Darcy friction factor is more commonly used by civil and mechanical engineering, but as in chemical engineering, that fanning friction factor generally people apply. Chemical engineering, why I am talking about chemical engineering? Because your reactor designing comes little bit about the chemical engineering and wholly based on your biotechnology, means how the cell will grow into your reaction system, how the bacteria will grow into your reaction system. But the inside the reaction which is happening, it is based on your chemical engineering. Like you are applying, because the cell will excrete some kind of some kind of enzyme, and when the enzyme will consume any kind of carbon product, it will produce some kind of product. So here the chemical engineering comes. Okay, I think I have told that what is the difference between, don't forget this line, just keep this line in your mind, that Darcy-Weisbach friction factor is 4 times greater than fanning friction factor. Just keep this thing in mind. And based on your friction factor, you can easily define. I think it is not related to, I'm not very sure, but if someone will ask that how you will define the friction factor, this is the formula, that friction factor equal to 16 by Re, and fanning friction factor, and for that Darcy equation 64 by Re, means this term is the 4 times of this term. Okay, that I want to show here. And so we have derived the what is the Darcy-Weisbach friction factor. Now second is your Chezy formula for loss, head loss. Okay, now Chezy formula, as I already, this thing come, this how you will derive this equation. First we did the same thing as we did in that in the Darcy. Same formula, this formula and this formula same, means you have to apply first of all Bernoulli's theorem. Same forces will be applicable, but he has given some another term. How? He has placed, one is called as the hydraulic mean depth. Here in that case we have rearranged this particular point and we have taken into consideration like F dash by rho equal to F by 2. friction factor. That's it. But here, what we did, we have determined in terms of the hydraulic mean diameter, hydraulic mean depth. Then M equal to A by P, wetted area divided by your how much is the perimeter. Wetted area means the area from where the fluid is flowing. Fluid is flowing, that is called wetted area. Now you have to define, you have to derive for P by A, then P by A equal to 1 by M, just inverse of that thing. Just put this value here and you can easily determine your velocity term. V square will be this, and you have to apply the root square. This whole term you have to take as Chazy constant value C. This will be the value of the C. And this value you have taken the loss of the head per unit length of the pipe. If you know the how much is the frictional loss, and with respect to the length, you can easily, by knowing the slope. So what I am saying, if you know the length, this is your length, if you know that the head loss, then by knowing the plot value means how much will be the slope, then you can easily determine the value of the I. This will be the slope value. It will plot between L by HF, then the slope value which will provide you the I value. Then the formula has been compressed into C root MI, because Chazy equation he defined that loss in terms of hydraulic mean depth. But in the case of Darcy-Weisbach equation, he derived in terms of the frictional factor. Okay, frictional coefficient is F. Okay, now coming to the second, that minor energy loss. In the minor energy loss, that as I already told, if there will be the enlargement or contraction or any kind of bend, or there is any kind of loss in the exit or any kind of entrance, so this all comes in the category of the minor losses. Okay, so I think you have got an idea. So let me give brief glimpse, then we will go further. That we today talk about that loss of energy. Loss of energy means if the fluid will flow from one position to the another position, so you have to define that which kind of losses and how it is generated, because due to the any kind of frictional force, any kind of bend, and any kind of that pipe fitting areas, so here loss will happen. So you have to define at what category should you will put and which kind of losses. So you have defined into the two type of the losses. One is the major loss, another one is minor loss. In the major loss, major means as by known major due to the frictional forces, any kind of friction. Definitely if the fluid will flow in any kind of pipe, then definitely friction will be there. You cannot smooth your surface without friction. It never exists in your day-to-day life or real scale application. So there will be the friction loss. So to define the frictional loss, we have derived the two type of the formula. One is the Darcy-Weisbach equation, another one is Chazy's equation. Darcy equation defined in the term of your how much is the head loss in term of F. Okay, but in the case of the Chazy's equation, he defined in term of the hydraulic mean depth, which is M. So these formula have their own limitation and own application, where you have to apply and where you have to do. Okay, now coming to the minor loss, if you have any kind of bend, it will come into the category, or if there are any kind of losses into the entrance or exit, all things will come into minor losses. Because minor loss, you can little bit reduce that thing by reducing the pipe or by reducing the fitting area, but major loss you cannot completely remove, because friction will be there in your system if the fluid will flow from one position to the another position. And the second highlighted point, that Darcy-Weisbach equation, the Darcy-Weisbach friction factor F is 4 times greater than fanning friction factor. Okay, I think you are from biotech department. Definitely fanning friction you should know that Darcy-Weisbach friction factor is 4 times larger than fanning friction factor. Based on this, you can easily define. If you know the Reynolds number, you can easily determine that how much will be the friction. Now, and we have derived this thing. Okay, now coming to the next point. Hmm.
एक्सक्यूज मी सर
Uh,
सर एक
uh,
क्वेश्चन है
of course.
सर हाइड्रोलिक मीन डेप्थ का मीनिंग क्या होता है मतलब इसे डिफाइन कैसे करेंगे
Okay, these terms are generally based on your means. Uh, you can, okay, one thing, these thing looking for in designing part means how could I wait. If you want to design any kind of reactor, you are defining in term of diameter. How much will be the diameter? So same thing here. They are defining in term of depth. Means how much will be the hydraulic mean depth. This is nothing but this is the constant value. Don't worry. This is the representation to define your designing property in term of some other variables. Because if he will put in term of a by p or p by a, it will make a lot of formula. So they want to reduce this thing. At the end, now see what he got. C root mi. There is nothing. Means you have to know what is the significance of m, mean depth diameter. He has, because he has suppressed that equation, fundamental equation, into the m. This is representation. Don't worry. This is not. It is not making any kind of too much thing. Means it is just a representation. Diameter you are representing in d, area in a, representation. And he has very good scientist. I think that's why he was looking for his formula and he has suppressed in term of the m. I think this formula is generally applicable to mechanical people, not you guys. Your, for you guys only, that Darcy is too much, that Darcy with batch is more than sufficient. But I have given whole I have derived also that thing, that you could make the difference between the Chassis equation and the Darcy with batch equation. Okay, have you got my point? Yes or no?
सर थोड़ा थोड़ा
Okay, generally people what they are doing, they are representing their own notations. If you got something new, then what is, whatever your name will be there, you want to put your name into that equation. Generally people do that. Bernoulli's theorem means Bernoulli was the scientist. He derived based on their energy conservation, so he has given his name, that this is called a Bernoulli equation. What will be your name? If you'll good, if you'll get something in the research, then you will put your name. This is my name and I have derived formula based on that constant value, or you have modified your equation. Okay.
यस सर
Okay. Famous Huygens-Poiseuille's law, and this in your curriculum it is given calculation of pressure drop in pipe. Okay. So we will talk about the Huygens-Poiseuille equation and how you will apply and how you can approach if the fluid is flowing from one direction to the another direction. Okay, this is very famous equation. If you are studying the fluid mechanics, then this equation is applicable to each and everywhere. Because if you will sit for interview, definitely he will ask how you will determine your pressure loss in a continuous pipe or any continuous flowing medium system. So Huygens-Poiseuille equation. Now, first of all, we will come into the assumptions. The fluid flows Newtonian law of viscosity, means the fluid will follow the Newton's law of viscosity. As I already told, I have told 1,000 times that it is applicable where the no slip condition of the fluid particle at the boundaries, means velocity at the surface is 0. You are assuming. Okay. Now, what you did, you have, this is the fluid flowing direction. You have cut this particular segment. This length is L from this to this, but you have cut this particular position, then how it look like? This will be the cross-sectional area. You have cut this particular position. This is the radius from this position to this position, and this is the small cross-section, delta R, change in radius, delta R. This particular region has been shown here also. Now 2 to 3 things. Now first of all the pressure, pressure force, if you want to define in P multiplied by area, and here will be the P plus del P del X delta X multiplied by pi R square. Why P by P delta X? Because delta P will be the change in the pressure with respect to delta X. If you have defined delta P with respect to delta X, del P by del X, then definitely you have to multiply it by delta X, that how much is the change. How much is the change in delta X, means from this position to this position. You have multiplied both things, means dimensionally should be correct. Delta P by X, it need delta X, then you have to multiply it with delta X. Now you have defined your pressure, input, output, and this is the stress. 2 pi r delta x, it will be at the surface stress. I will discuss this thing also. Now first what you have to do, you have to define the stress. F equal to tau 2 pi r. 2 pi r means your perimeter multiplied by delta x, change in the distance from this position to this position. Now you have got this point F. Now what you have to do, you have to just apply the material balance. Stress force, as I already defined, pressure force input and pressure force at the right hand side means output. Okay, now input minus output minus how much is the resistive force. Same thing as I already shown in earlier that Darcy-Weisbach equation, that input minus output minus how much is the resistive force equal to 0. Then you have to rearrange this thing, you will get this formula. This is nothing but this is the rearrangement. Okay, you can do at your own. If you find any difficulty, just let me know. Don't hesitate to ask anything. I'm very clear. If you have any query, just let me know. I can derive this thing also. Okay, after the rearrangement, you have got the value of the tau. Then what you have to do, you have determined this thing when the r equal to r. R means you have taken at a distance, because whole diameter is capital R, but you have cut a segment which is away from center, having the radius r. This is r, and this particular region, this is delta r. Then you have defined for r. If you are looking for the whole pipe, then r should be capital R. Now come, the equation shows that the flow will occur only if the pressure gradient exists in the direction of the flow. Don't forget, if it exists the pressure gradient in the direction of the flow, the negative sign shows the pressure decrease in the direction of the flow. As I already told, if you will apply some kind of pressure, it cannot be same as here, so there is some kind of frictional losses. So to define this thing, how you will define the delta P. At early we talk about frictional losses, here we are talking about how much will be the pressure loss. Then same thing, this formula is same, means if you will apply for the capital R, if the R will be the whole diameter, you are looking for the whole diameter. For whole diameter, how much will be the loss? Then it will be the delta minus del dou P by dou X multiplied by R by 2. Now this thing, that this curve, that this figure, please keep this in mind and do not forget for your interview, for everything, just keep this in mind. As I already told, no slip condition means at the surface velocity will be 0, and here the velocity will be very high at the middle of the pipe. Don't forget this thing, please. Here the velocity will be very high, here velocity you are assuming v equal to 0, no slip condition. But we have not talked about what will be the pattern of the shear stress. If the velocity will be very high at that particular point, means here will be the some kind of shear distribution. Don't forget that thing. Here will be your shear stress. Okay, if the velocity is 0, then tau will be something. If the velocity is very high, then tau will be 0. Just keep this in mind. If you have velocity 0 here, then tau will be should be there, means it will be depend on your radius and how much is the shear stress. But if the, but the velocity at that point where the velocity will be very high, your shear stress will be zero. Just keep this in mind, don't forget this thing. If you are going for interview related to your this fluid mechanics, just keep this in mind. The velocity at that point, at the point where the velocity will be zero, the shear stress will be higher at that particular point, will be higher. But in the case of velocity where the velocity where is the maximum, V max, then here the stress will be zero. Okay. Now apply the Newton's law of viscosity, tau equal to mu del u by del y. Okay. Then y equal to r minus r. What is r minus r? Means you have defined the segment, that this particular position y means in the direction, in this direction. Then it will be the difference from r to r is the total height, but r is some up to here only. Yeah? Then how much will be? Means up to here only. Okay, this much is r. Then how much it will be? R minus r. Okay. Okay. Now y equal to r minus r. Now you can see r minus r, this particular position. Then take the differentiation, dy equal to minus dr. Okay. Just tau equal to mu dy by du by dy. Just put this value here, and then compare this equation with this equation. Now have a look. If you compare, you will get this expression, and you have to determine how much will be the value of the u. You've got this expression. What you have to do? You have to integrate. If you do the integration, this particular position, integration. If you integrate, you will get this expression. Then after that, after the integration, you have to apply the boundary condition. R equal to r, velocity will be very high, correct? He has written the same thing, r equal to r, velocity is 0. Then what it will be? Means if the velocity at this particular point, no slip condition, if the r will be r, here the velocity is 0. At this particular point, velocity is 0. Then what you have to do? You have to put this value, and you have to determine the value of the c. Just rearrange, you will get this value. Now have a look this expression. This expression you have got when your when you have got this expression. Okay, I forgot what I want to say. Okay, sorry. Okay, now we have got this expression, u equal to minus 1 by 4 mu dou p by dou x r square minus r square. Now we have to rearrange this value, and we have to define what we are talking about. Is it correct or not? Means you have got such an expression which has some kind of square value, means some kind of a square, means it is showing some kind of parabolic term. What does that mean? Parabolic. If you look, have a look, the velocity profile, it is like a parabola, correct? It is like a parabola. Same thing you have got here also, that velocity term, you have got some kind of parabolic term. Here I have mentioned equation shows that velocity distribution curve is parabola. The maximum velocity occur at the center, as we have discussing from the first day, that velocity at the center will be very high, and here will be the no slip condition. So we have derived this thing at today. Today we have derived that we have got u which is showing the parabolic term. If you want to define the velocity, maximum velocity, what you have to do? This you have to 0. Then what you will get? This much will be the maximum velocity. This much. This is your maximum velocity at the center. Then what you have to do? You have to compare equation 2 and equation 1. Then you will get this expression. Now, first we have to highlight few point. We have got this expression. Okay, just hold here. Come here. First of all, what we are saying that if the fluid will flow from this direction to this direction, then velocity at the center will be very high and stress will be zero. Okay, same thing. To prove this thing, what you have to do, you have design. If the fluid will flow from this direction, you have derived the expression and you have designed your profiles that velocity at the center will be very high and at the surface here will be the zero, but here the stress will be very high and here the velocity stress will be zero. Now you have proved this thing today that velocity at the center is very high. This is the maximum velocity at the center and which is showing the parabolic term. But in the case of stress, it is not a parabola. It is not a parabola. Just keep this in mind. This is showing the straight line behavior, but it is in the parabolic behavior. Now we have to define in terms of your discharge coefficient also. The discharge coefficient equal to del Q equal to velocity multiplied by 2 pi r perimeter multiplied by how much is the change delta x. Just put all these value, you know this value delta r, just integrate this thing, you will get this value. Okay, now if you want to define in terms of the average flow velocity, then average flow means if you want to define in the average term, u equal to q by a, same thing, same formula divided by area, you will get the u max divided by 2. These are all our rearrangement. You have to do nothing, just based on your convenience, people they are rearranging. Now if you'll integrate this thing, if you'll rearrange and you will integrate this thing, you will get this particular equation. This is called as Huygens-Poiseuille. But wait, this formula, it is used when you know the average velocity. Average velocity, you have already defined that q by a is your average velocity. So we are not interested about the average velocity. So what we will do, now we have written this expression, average velocity that q by a, we want to determine in terms of diameter only. Then q multiplied by pi d square by 4, this will be the expression. If you will put this thing here in terms of average velocity, you will get this expression. Now if you will search in Google, generally people use this formula in terms of this delta p equal to 128 divided by pi multiplied by mu LQ divided by d to power 4, and in terms of r square as well. This formula called as Huygens-Poiseuille equation. If you want to determine your change in pressure drop in the flowing pipe, then you have to use directly Huygens-Poiseuille equation. Okay, up to here today only. Then first of all, we will give a brief glimpse for today's lecture, that today we talk about major and minor losses, where we discuss in a pipe how the pressure loss it will how the head loss, how many type of frictional loss, major or minor loss will be, and same thing here you determine how much will be the frictional loss, and same if you want to if you look for the how much will be the pressure loss, so you have to apply the Huygens-Poiseuille equation. For Huygens-Poiseuille you have derived the expression, and this much will be your pressure loss. Okay, have you got my point? Because these things are derivations. We have tried to make you understand. I don't know you are guys are understanding, yes or no. Please, I need your response. Anyone, please?
Yes,
Am I audible?
yes.
Am I audible? Okay. Okay, have you got my point? Yes or no? Leave it, forget about all these things. Today we talk about two things, okay? First one is losses. How many type of losses? One will be the major, another one is minor loss. In the major, we have discussed about the frictional. In the frictional losses, there is the two type of the formula. One is the Darcy-Weisbach, another one is Chase's equation, okay? And second, we talk about Huygens-Poiseuille equation. Okay, Huygens-Poiseuille equation you have to apply where you want to determine your delta P, pressure drop. Okay, if same thing, both are interrelated, that loss and that pressure drop, both are interrelated, because you are looking for some kind of pressure loss from this position to this position when the fluid will flow from this direction to this direction. Same thing. Okay, you have defined your losses and you have derived expression for your delta P as well. Okay, here today. Okay.
सर
uh,
ये सेकंड लास्ट इक्वेशन में d की पावर 4 है और लास्ट इक्वेशन में r की पावर 4 है, तो जब हम d की पावर 4 को r की पावर 4 अपॉन में 2 की पावर 4 लिखेंगे तो ये 128 की जगह 8 कैसे आया? जो फैक्टर आएगा सर 2 की पावर 4 का, वो तो 128 से मल्टीप्लाई होगा ना? ओके 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 ओके, यस सर, आई गॉट.
okay, got it.
Yes,
16.
sir.
Okay, this is 16. 16 r, okay. 16 r की power 4. Okay, na? Have you got my point? Na?
Yes sir.
Okay.